Oh, look at this. This is one of our officials. His name's Paul. He's awesome. So duties of the R1. We'll go over these a little bit. So, oh wait, this is you, Steve.
Hey, this
Your
is
turn.
new. Hey, even more new good stuff has been added to it. So who's in charge?
R1.
R1, right? Well,
Oh,
Robin's always.
yeah.
Robin is always in charge. We know that. We know that. Robin is the volleyball queen, and Tina is the princess. When I first joined 10 years ago, I left my flags behind, and the queen and the princess helped me get them back. The R1's in charge. It's your gym, really. But hey, try not to rule with an iron fist, right? What do you need to do before the match? Well, you got to make sure that you contact your officiating team at least 48 hours ahead of time. Send an email, send a text. I usually send both. I want people to communicate with me so that I know that they're going to be there on time. Once you get into the gym, typically when we have JV and varsity matches in many, I won't say most, in many of the gyms we have here, the R2 is going to be running the JV match on the varsity court. And the R1 for the varsity match is going to be going to the C team court, the freshman court, and they're going to be running the match in there. So in that case, I, as the R1, am not going to be checking the balls or the net in the main gym. I'm hoping that my R2 will do that in the main gym, and I'm going to take care of it in the C team gym. If you know you're going to be late, and if you work with me, you will learn right away. I'm always late, and I contact you ahead of time and say, hey, Mark knows I'm going to be late. It's just the way it is. But communication makes so much of a difference so that somebody isn't there freaking out when the time comes. But get there as quickly as you can. Check the net height. Don't use that bump on that finger. Take out your chain, take out your net chain, and actually measure the height of the net. Make it official. Don't just check it in the middle, check it on both ends. Make it official. If the net's not right, if you're not happy with it, talk to whoever's in charge of the gym, talk to the head coach, say, Coach, we need this changed. And sooner the better so that everybody has time to do it before the match starts. Before the match starts, what else am I going to do? I'm going to check out the whole gym for safety. If there's something that's not in compliance, if there's something on the referee stand that I see needs to be covered, if it's below 5 feet, 5.5 feet, 5.5. Sorry, forgotten right now. I'm going to make sure that they have something that's able to cover that. If there are wheels on the referee stand, I need to make sure that those are covered so that nobody's going to get hurt. If there are whatever else, something in the gym that is out of place that somebody could get injured by in a playable area, I got to make sure that safety is my top #1 concern. If it's the varsity match, when both my R2 and I are there, we're going to get together. We're going to go over and say hello to both of the coaches before the match starts. Who knows what that protocol will look like this year in the land of COVID. Staying 6 feet away and talking to them through our masks, but still going over and introducing yourself to both coaches. And as Tina said at the very beginning of this presentation tonight, professionalism, really do your part to show impartiality, that you are there to judge that match as fairly and evenly as you possibly can without showing favoritism to one team or the other, even if you know somebody in that gym. Hi, good to see you. You know, maybe we'll talk after the match is over, but trying not to show that, that familiarity with those players. Once everything is all set up, it's time to have our captain's meeting. R1 stands on the, let's see, where do I stand? As the R1, I usually stand on the left side, but now I can't remember. What do you guys usually do?
Opposite of the subs.
Right. Oh, yeah. No. I mean, for the coaches and captains, and again, who knows what the protocol is going to be for that. What I mean is, if we're going to be more in the middle of the court because there may not be enough room for 6 feet of separation between people. And this year, as I understand, we're only going to have one player from each team. I think I've seen something along those lines. A coach and one player, and spaced far enough apart. But no, what I mean is when you are standing with your back to the scorers table, doing the coaches and captains meeting, as R1, I'm typically on the right side. Are you typically on the right side, Robin? Or does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but
So long as your back is to the scores table, you just
Yep.
don't want your back to the court.
To the court, yeah. Go through the various things that you need to talk about in the coaches and captains meeting. And then once you have completed that, the playable area, the ceiling, all the things that you and your R2 have looked at, asking the head coach of the home team if there's anything in particular that they have experienced in the past. Although, remember, the final decision is yours because you are the R1. And after you finish your captains and coaches meeting and you've conducted your coin toss, it's the R1's job, not the R2's, to inform the scorer who the first server will be. And if your scorer isn't there at that moment, I'm going to quickly make a mark on the right side, the correct side of the court, if I haven't already forgotten it. Questions so far? Sorry, that was a lot pre-match.
So I think Mark sent everybody his pre-match speech, his coaches and captains speech. So that's just something that we will be going over that information at a later date.
I wasn't going to go through it now. Thank you so much. All right. Once you, and who knows again, what will be the protocol for introducing teams, or if there'll be the flag salute or national anthem or that sort of thing. And where we will be, if we'll be on the opposite side of the court, if we will be spaced away, we'll find out. But once you have beckoned the teams onto the court, some people, as R1, never get down from the stand unless there is an extended break between sets 2 and 3. Otherwise, they may be standing up there the entire time. I take breaks because I know that my calves are bothering me, and it happens all the time. I take a break usually between sets, but some people never get down from the platform. If you're short, if you are diminutive, and you can find a good stable base to use to help you get taller, because some places you go, you're going to have that pole, the one that in the picture there Paul has his hands on, that's going to be in front of your face. Curtis High Schools, their pole is in front, is pretty tall, and it blocked the face of a fellow referee last year at districts. So just be aware of that. We have a couple of shorter referees, and they bring stands with them to every one of their matches. During the set, you are the head official. You're the R1. You're going to make the final decisions. You're going to take the recommendations of your R2. The hope is that before the match, you have had a good, serious conversation with your R2 and talked about what help you want to get, what signals that they expect from you and what you expect from them as the nonverbal or the, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, lost it. The helpful signals, you know, those ones. I just lost.
Discreet.
Discreet, thank you. That's the word. Lost my word, discreet. Have that conversation ahead of time. Oh yeah, I also forgot to make sure that you've had that conversation with who's in charge at the scorers table in terms of the book. Do they know what they're doing? I know that's also R2's job, but just have those conversations and introduce yourself to all the people at the scorers table. Anything you want to add about during the set in particular, ladies? Oh, Queen and Princess.
So as the R1, like you said, you're the boss, right? I always say it's all fun and games until you piss me off. So let's just all follow Robin's rules, right? Because ultimately I'm the one that has to take the heat for everything that goes on. So you got to have an opinion about every play that happens. Every ball that lands in, lands out, that's touched, contacted, you've got to have an opinion about it. And so what I'm looking for from my lines people is confirmation for that opinion. And if you're not confirming what I saw, I'm going to go with what I saw because I'm the boss. I'm the R1. So I'd like you to go in with that mindset that My thought process is I'm a guest in this house, in this gym. It's not my gym, but I'm here to manage the match, and I'm going to manage this match. So go in with that mindset that these people are here to help you. They're here to confirm what you already know, and be the boss. You don't have to be a jerk about it, right? I mean, those of you coaches who've known me, I'm not a jerk about it until you piss me off.
I like the way you said it, manage it. That at the end of the match, when you leave, are they talking about you, or are they talking about the fact that one team defeated the other and it was officiated well, and that we appear impartial, and that we did our job fairly, and we called it consistently? That's one of the key things that I really try to work on, is consistency, which is really, really, really challenging sometimes. Tina, you unmuted.
I agree. I like to go in, I do my job. I make sure that my team knows that I trust them, but like Robin says, I'm in charge and I get to make the final decision. So, but one thing to keep in mind too is that if there is maybe a questionable play, bring everybody in, ask them. Because maybe you have a line judge that called a touch and one called it out, and your partner's like, I thought that was out. I didn't see it, right? Call everyone in, make sure, confirm from the information you get, make that decision. So, because you're right, everyone's looking at you. So get all the information you can.
And use it to the best of your judgment you possibly can. And at the end of the night, can you say, okay, I did my best. We did our best. Court protocol. Do you know what you're doing at the beginning of the match? Do you know what you're doing at the end of the match? Do you know what you're doing at between sets? At the end of the match, have you guys, or excuse me, before the match, have you made arrangements that if this gets contentious, hey, grab my bag, it's that one, as the R1. Say that to your R2. Because if it gets contentious, if it's a tight match, I'm going to get off the stand, I'm going to collect my R1 on my side of the gym, and we're making a beeline out of here. But we hope that it doesn't get to that. We hope it doesn't get to that. Anything else that you guys meant or you were intending for end of the match protocol? Okay. Do either of you sign the score sheets? As the R2, I almost never do unless the scorekeeper says sign.
Agreed.
I saw what happened. I know what happened. They know what happened.
Yep.
And
I
rarely sign them
Yep.
unless the scorekeeper asks me to.
And if you work with Robin, she's not coming over. She's going out the door. You just know that. So go grab her stuff and meet her outside. Why wait? Why wait?
So my whole thing is that what you do at one gym, you need to do at the next gym, right? So like Tina said, I'm not coming across the court, whether I felt like I had a great match or whether I felt like I had a crappy match. Because if I felt like I had a crappy match, I'm leaving, right? So if I'm walking across the court sometimes, but not all the time, well, maybe my partner thought I had a good match, but I thought it was crappy, and now I left and he doesn't have my stuff, and it's the same thing every time. Get your exit plan all squared away when you get there. Toot and scoot, you're out.
Do you have your exit buddy? Yep.
Yep. Next.
You're in control, Robin.
I know it's not working. Hold on.
Uh-oh, what did you do? Okay, R2, what are your jobs? Pre-match, have a conversation with your R1. Have a conversation with your scorekeeper. Do they know what they're doing? Have a conversation with your Libro tracker. Do they know what they're doing? Provide some tips. Have a conversation with your scoreboard operator. Do they know what they're doing and what you want in terms of try to remember to reset the clock for 3 minutes between sets. And you're going to give me well, actually, you're not going to give me a buzzer at 15 seconds. It's a tweet at 15 seconds for a timeout. And you'll hear lots of people say it lots of different ways, but I'm pretty certain the protocol is 1 minute for the timeout. If the time reaches 15 seconds, it's the R2's job to tweet. Nice, crisp, clean tweet at 15 seconds. remaining in the timeout if the teams are both still in the huddle. If both teams are out on the court prior to that, you're going to tweet when they're both on the court and ready to go. And then you're going to turn to your scoreboard operator and say buzz. And if it was tweet at 15 and it counts all the way down to 0, then the scoreboard operator is going to let it buzz at 0. You're going to make sure that you give the match back to your R1 at the end of timeouts and substitutions. Things to pay attention to. Positioning. Are you in the right spot to make the right call? Are you on the correct side of the net at the right time? Are you transitioning from one side of the net to the other? And we're going to work on this when we do that on court. We'll certainly work on this some more. It's going to come super naturally to some of us, and it's not going to be as natural for others. But hey, that's what we're here for. As Robin said, keyword there is discrete signals. He's given that discrete signal of that was a lift. Some R1s don't want any help. They just don't want any help. You can give them all the signals you want and they're not going to look at it. How long, if you definitely have a down ball and have that conversation ahead of time. If I got a down ball and I know it's a down ball, do you want me stepping out and holding that signal? Or do you want me to look for what you're doing? And if you as R1 brush me off, am I going to step back from it? How close or how far away are you from the net pole for your positioning so that you can get that best look of the top of the net, down to the center line? Where are you positioned when you're allowing players to enter for substitutions? Where are you positioned when you are making a call for a timeout? Where are you positioned once the rally has ended and are you able to get to one side of the net or the other? Remember, in Federation, you don't have to get to the fault side of the net. It's recommended, but it's not required. And some of us are a little slow, or we get our feet tied up and we forget that we're supposed to get to that other side of the net. The one you definitely want to get to the correct side of the net is which call? It's your call. Anybody? I'm the R2. I want to make sure I'm on the correct side of the net when I make which call?
Net.
Yep, a net violation. Because if I'm making it from the other side, it looks kind of funny.
Antenna
And the
fault.
coaches, I'm sorry?
Mm-hmm.
Antenna.
Antenna fault. It looks kind of funny when you're making it from the wrong side of the center line. So make sure that you are transitioning for that. And the match will wait for you. The ball's already been blown dead. Take your time. Don't take your time, but you've got a second or two to get to the side of the net that you need to get to. What are you watching for during the course of the net? Are you following the ball? As little as possible, right? You don't want to follow the ball with your eyes. You want to be watching for player positions before the moment of contact of serve. You want to be watching for players on the court, out of the court. You want to be watching for net violations, centerline violations. And then if you get a chance to sneak a peek and give help out on a ball handling call, then you might give a suggestion. If you are keeping track of, as Tina said, when that ball comes over the net, I count. I absolutely count. And if you know that a fourth hit is about to happen, are you giving that discrete signal up on your chest right away so that your partner has it for you? All those things that we're gonna, hey, woohoo, it's gonna happen super fast. And to those you already know, we're so glad that you already know. Things to add for that? There's so much more.
Well, one thing as you progress in, I'll be honest, being an R1, Robin loves to be the R1. She does like to be in charge. She likes to be up there, make those tough calls. I love being an R2. To me, I like the interaction. I like to move. As you progress as an R2, it really is not an easy position because you are moving. You have to deal with the coach. You're dealing with benches. You're dealing with the score table. But when you progress, what we teach is that you will widen your vision when the ball is not close to the net and then narrow. So you'll wide and you'll narrow. So as the ball is outward, you can look at players, see maybe potentials, maybe help your partner if there's, their back is to your partner when they play it. And then as that ball comes into the net, you're going to bring your eyes in and hone in on that net and the center line violation. So, for those of you who have been doing it for a while, then you know how to do that. Some of you are getting new and doing this. It takes time. Wide into narrow, wide into narrow. So, but the other thing that I think is so important as an R2 is that in your pre-match, talk to your partner and say, if I blow my whistle because I need to talk to the score table, don't go anywhere without me. Because the R2, once they blow the whistle to stop something, that R1 needs to wait. So it's so important that you then give the court back to your partner, but until you do, your partner should wait for you. So, and you figure out what's going on with that table. You've got to know how to read the score and everything like that. So that's important. And dealing with coaches, that's always fun.
Time check.
Okay.
Time check. Yep. We want to stop?
What's next? What's after this?
I believe it is line judge.
Line judge duties.
And then I think it's about done, but we could certainly start back up from right here.
I don't think we can skip over line judge duties because,
They should be fast.
yeah.
Because we'll do an extra training. I have a list. So before we leave, I want to make sure I got everyone on the list for line judge. So,
Okay, so we're moving on.
yeah.
All right, line judge. And the case with everybody, make sure you're there at least 30 minutes before the start of the match, or really try to. And if you can't, make sure your partner knows. But line judges, try to get there 30 minutes ahead of time as well, and have a conversation with your R1, because they're the one that you're reporting to. Do you have a set of flags? If you don't have a set of flags, does your partner have a set of flags? In your pre-match conversation with your line judging partner, talking about where are you going to hold the flag during a timeout? Are you both going to have it in front of you, rolled up in front of you? Are you going to have it rolled up behind you? I prefer in front of me. It just is more comfortable for me. Where are you? Nope, totally lost it. The conversation with your R1, any special things that you want from me or any special things that I can give to you on this court? Is there something that you don't want me helping you out with? Otherwise, do you know the calls, of course? Gosh, I'm trying to think back to, in fact, the thing that Robin has said to me when we were up at Olympic College in Bremerton, but it's gone now. But there was just something in her pre-match conversation with me. She was the R1, I was her line judge. And
Robin likes great eye contact, which most of us do as an R1. We love the eye contact. So if you've got a call and then you kind of look at your R1, yes, this is what I saw, this is what I have. So the eye contact, so your R1 will probably tell you that, because I know that, yeah, that's important. Look at your R1.
And hope that your R1 is also looking back at you.
Yeah, some don't. Some don't.
Some don't.
Me.
If they're not giving you some eye contact, go ahead, give me an evil eye. Go right ahead, give me an evil eye and tell me, I haven't seen your eyes in a long time, and I want you to know that I'm here. Pre-match, don't forget you need to get out on the court and also warm up your eyes a little bit. Go to your spot on the corner without your flag and spend a few minutes making sure that you are looking for glare, reflection, things that are of note on the court. Before a match, it's time for lineups. We're all going across the court, or we think we're all going across the court. If you are the R1, you're going to take your flag with you and put it on the referee stand. If you are the R2, you're going to leave your flag over on the scorer's table and walk back across the court with your R2. Just before the start of the match and before the R2 gives the ball to the server, first server, you're standing about 8 to 10 feet behind the back corner of, so
Sideline.
the picture of that guy, he'd be back 8 feet along the blue line there, behind the end line, straight back. And then when the ball goes out, come up to your spot, get ready, and be ready to move. Don't be there and be a lump. You're there to do a job. You're there to provide information so that your R1 can make the most informed decisions that he or she can. What's your position when it is a ball that is a cut shot coming from way off to one side of near the antenna, that the possibility of an antenna fault is really going to be great. Can you afford to leave your line? Or can you afford to leave your corner? Or is your sideline still going to be in play? If it is, then you can't leave your corner. During the set, are you ready for each new point? During the set, you might have a server that comes over and stands next to you within the third of the court closest to your corner. Are you going to back off the line 2 steps and look down the line? And as soon as she makes contact with the ball, you're going to step back to your corner and she's out of the way so that you're not too much of a distraction. Have that conversation with your R1 ahead of time of where does your R1 want you to go if the server comes over to your side to your corner of the court. There's a timeout called. Go ahead.
I got to interrupt you. Sorry. R1s, you better tell the line judge that they need to give up the sideline and keep the end line when the server is within 3 to 4 feet of them. There's no more going behind the server anymore. That's old school. So now we're giving up the sideline, keeping the end line.
During a timeout, R2, you're going to roll up your flag as you're going across, walk down your end line, and when you get to that corner, the two of you both, the R1 will then also start to walk down so that you try to arrive, at the 10-foot line, the L.
L1 and L2, you said R1 and R2.
Oh, well, I want the R1 and R2 getting down off the stand and coming over and stand over there for the.
Like L.
All right, L1 and L2, so that you're arriving at the 10-foot line at the same time and taking a spot about a foot behind or out of the court. At 15 seconds remaining in the timeout, and when your R1 gives you a tweet, you're going to head back. Or, sorry, R2, sorry. Hey, it's 8:48. I didn't sleep well last night. Back off.
My bedtime's 9 o'clock.
Going to give you that tweet, and the two of you are going to make your way back to your corners. Give eye contact once you get back into your spot to your R1 to make sure that they know that you are ready to go for that next point. What else?
If a timeout does end early, always leave when the R2 does the tweet. So you listen for the tweet to release.
And then end of the set, come back to the R1 side, and the two of you go across the court together. Right? Just like in college there. When the set ends, you got 3 minutes. Make sure you're back out on your spot with 45 seconds at least to go in the 3-minute time between sets.
So the reason to go back across the court at the end of the match would be to drop off balls. And there's only a 1-ball rotation typically because there's no retrievers. But if there are retrievers and it's the end of the match, we don't have to take the balls to the scorer's table. You just get out of Dodge.
If I said end of match, I meant between sets. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you said that. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
You said end of match.
Okay.
End of the match, you leave.
Everybody's ready to go.
You leave. Yep.
Is that it?
Think so. We'll go over more if you do training.
Yeah.
So really quick, I want to make sure for line judges, I tried to go through the comments. I want to make sure I got everyone. Mercedes, Shonda, Kayla, Chris, and Peter. Is that it? Will or James, did you guys want to do line judging also?
Will said maybe.
Will said maybe. Okay. I will put a question mark there, Will.
Yeah, put me when I get up there. That's
Okay.
Jim.
Well, we'll put you on the email then. Okay, James?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
thank you.
then Peter, I did resend you an invite. Will you just double check to make sure? If not, email me. I should be in the emails that you've been getting from Robin.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure it went through this time. Good, perfect. And Kayla left, but I resent hers, so. All right, that's all I had. Sorry.
And Peter, at this moment, as I understand it, you're planning to only line judge, correct?
Yeah, for this year.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you.
yes.
So I think that we have all come to the consensus that we will be using Zoom. Because we don't want to go through Teams again. So the Zoom link will either come from myself or Gernon. It just depends on if the board has a meeting scheduled at the same time we do, then we can't use the board's Zoom. We can use Steve's Zoom. Right, Steve?
As far as I know, hey, like I said, I'll ask for forgiveness and permission sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Mercedes, I got that, just so you know.
Are we all good? Does anybody have any questions?
When is our next meeting?
My
Next
first.
week.
When is it?
Is that next week?
Next week?
And when
That's
is that
Sunday.
one? What is it gonna be? Scorekeeping, right?
On the 1st?
Isn't that the scorekeeping one with Jenny?
Jenny,
Yeah, the first is for training.
And Jenny is Pac-12 scorer. She's great, fabulous. So yes.
she knows stuff's gonna happen before it happens.
Oh my gosh, she's awesome. She's the scorer you want to have when you're there too. Because
Yeah.
you never have to look at her and give her the subs. She just automatically knows them. It's great.
All right, so look for a link for the next meeting on November 1st. It's a Sunday. It's 6:30 to 8, where Jenny's going to go over scorer training. All right,
Sorry for the
everybody.
problems again.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for your
Right.
Thanks, guys.